Hi, my name is Sarah and welcome to this video. Today we're going to be moving through a yin class. This yin sequence is going to be focusing on the meridian lines of the liver and the gallbladder. This practice is going to be targeting a lot of the fascia through the outer line of the body. And we can think about the energy of the liver meridian as the energy that controls all of the qi that moves through our body. Our liver also connects to our capacity to experience resistance. So some things to consider if you notice that maybe your liver qi is out of balance is that maybe you're feeling very irritable, it's a little bit harder to regulate your emotions, maybe you're feeling quite overwhelmed and you're just noticing it's a bit difficult to shift that. So this practice is really going to help to stimulate the liver and the gallbladder meridian lines so that we can start to find a little bit of movement to bring some fresh and revitalized qi into those areas and just bring some awareness to your relationship at the moment with resistance within the body and within the mind. So as always for our yin practice, I encourage you to have as many props as you can. So I have a bolster and 2 blocks, but if you don't have these props, feel free to grab anything that you might have at home. Maybe you have some pillows that you can use. Something that you can use instead of a bolster is maybe to grab a blanket or a towel and just roll it up really nice and tight to create a bit of a support for you. Just grab everything that you need. When you're ready, get your space set up and we will begin our practice. So our first pose that we'll be moving into is going to be our butterfly. So just start with your sit bones down. You'll start to bring the soles of your feet together and then take your knees out wide. Now we want to focus on the target area first as through the inner groin. So you really want to find sensation within this space. So to create that, you might find walking your feet in a little bit is going to help bring that sensation through the inner groin. Now our second target area will be our spine as we start to fold forward. Now when you're ready, we'll start to come into our first pose. So I'm going to bring my blocks in front of my feet because I'll use these to support myself. As always, we work with time, so really give yourself the space. There's a misconception that props makes the practice easier, but if anything, it makes the practice more supportive. When we feel supportive, we can really then work with our body to create a safe feeling through the body. And that's what we're really hoping to achieve here. So when you're ready, take a big breath in, a slow breath out, and then just start to come forward into your butterfly. So feet together, knees wide, creating that sensation through the inner groin. Second target area, the spine. So really rounding the spine, not holding onto the chest, not holding onto anything. Use your props to support you. And as you settle in, just coming into the breath. So just notice where you're at. Notice what's happening within the body. If you notice that there's any sort of louder, maybe areas within the body that are speaking to you right now, see if you can really lean into these spaces and communicate with the experience, with the quality of your breath. So we've got about 60 seconds remaining. If you are situated on your props, just notice maybe if there's a bit more space within the body now, and maybe start to move the props or adjust the props just to see if you can create a little bit more sensation in the body. Just notice if there's any holding happening within the face and the jaw, the shoulders, and really encourage these areas of the body just to soften. Now when you're ready, begin to take a slow, deep breath in. And then a full breath out. Just support yourself to slowly come up. Be mindful as you move. Just bring your hands behind you to support you. Take your feet out wide. And then just slowly, slowly windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Just taking a little bit more of an active rebound. And then nice and slow, we'll start to move now into our next pose. So we're going to come into our deer pose. So from your seat, you're going to bring, I'll just rotate this way so you have a better view of me. You're going to bring your right shin to the top of the mat, and you're going to make it so that it's parallel to the top of the mat. Your left leg is going to come out to the side. Now I'll give you the option with the placement of the left knee. So you might find sensation with the knee closer to the foot. You might find a little bit more sensation by bringing the left knee either in line with the hip space or even pulling it further back. I'll let you feel into what feels best for your body, finding that edge. So our target areas here, we really want to work through the right outer glute. So this is our main target area. Our second target area is the rotation of the left leg. So choose your placement. I'm going to bring my knees just a little bit, my knee a little bit closer towards my foot, not necessarily connecting. You find that placement for your body. And then from here, you're just going to bring your fingertips in front of your right leg, bending the elbow a little bit. And then you're just going to scan your chest from your knee over to your foot, and then just moving back and forth, finding a slight flossing here. And then you're going to arrive in the spot that feels the most stickiest. So a part of the body that maybe feels like it's holding or is a little bit tighter, or something that just feels interesting. Because really we want to move into those places because that's when our experience with the practice becomes a little bit more powerful, a little bit more potent. So I'm finding if I move a little bit closer towards my foot, I'm feeling the sensation through my outer glute a little bit more. So this is where I'm going to stay. You might choose to be closer to the knee. Once again, feel into your body, find that sweet spot. So for me, I'm going to use my bolster. I'm going to bring it forward, keeping my chest aligned closer to my foot, bringing the arms down, and once again, we're going to find a slight rounding, so nice and heavy through the body. Releasing all of the tension, encouraging softness into the body. And then coming deeply back into the breath. Now when you're ready, just begin to take a slow, deep breath in. Slow, deep breath out. Support yourself to gently rise. Bring your hands behind you. Maybe floss from side to side. And we're going to move straight into our second side before we take our rebound. So take your left leg now to the top of your mat, bringing the leg so it's parallel. Option to bring the right knee maybe closer to the foot, maybe further back if this creates a deeper experience, a deeper sensation for you. Once again, bring your hands in front of the leg and take time just to draw the chest to the knee, then over to the foot. Just scanning back and forth, just finding that space, that really interesting place where you can start to get a little bit curious about what's happening in the body. And then once you find that, utilizing your props, creating your little stack, knowing that your props are there to support you so that you can come into this experience feeling supported and safe. As you start to settle in, finding the breath. Start to find your last 3 rounds of breath. And then nice and slow, begin to draw yourself up. This time we'll take our rebound. So if you're not familiar with the rebound, it's taking some slow movements to arrive either onto your back, maybe onto your belly, maybe you'd prefer to roll onto your side, coming all the way down so that we can really start to feel the chi, the energy flushing through after our hold. So as you settle in, relax all of your muscles. Really bring your awareness to any flushes that you notice, any big waves moving. And then when you're ready, bringing some gentle movements back into your body. Just slowly support yourself to come up. Now the next pose that we're going to be moving into is going to be our square, or I'll give you the option to come into your fire log if you find that you have a little bit more space in your body. So what you'll do is you'll start in your seat and you'll bring your right foot in towards you, and then you'll cross your left leg underneath. So similar to being in a easy seat, but we want to focus actually on walking our feet to the edges of our mat so that our feet stack underneath our knees. So the target areas are once again through the outer glutes, and you should feel sensation here. If you want a little bit more, if you have space in your body, you might choose to bring the left foot on top of the right knee. This is just an option. If you come here and you're feeling a lot through the knee, or there's a really big gap from your knee to your foot, then feel free just to take your square variation, just making sure that you walk the feet to the edges of the mat. If you are in your fire log and your left foot is stacked, just be mindful of the gap between the left knee and the right foot. You want to make sure that this gap isn't too big. If there's a little bit of a gap, that's okay. You might choose to bring maybe a blanket here. You can even choose to bring a block just to close that space. Something to take in consideration, our yin practice is less about the shapes, what the shapes look like, and more about how they feel in the body. So for each of us, we're always going to look a little different because our bodies are super unique and we're all structured in a different way. So make sure that you're really being true to what your body needs and how you can get into the shape that once again is supportive for you. So I'm going to take my square. You might choose to take your fire log. Once again, walking the feet towards the edges of the mat so that the feet are stacked underneath the knees. If you find you've got a bit of tightness through the low back as well, and maybe you're kind of rounding, you might choose to bring a blanket and just fold your blanket, bring it underneath your sit bones. So as you set your legs up, feel free just to separate the glutes a little bit. Take a moment to lengthen through the spine, and then once again we'll fold forward. So maybe bringing your blocks in front of you, maybe bringing your bolster on top of your blocks. If you don't have these props, maybe a little stack with all your cushions. Letting yourself come forward, releasing the tension through the spine, through the neck, through the shoulders, and taking time to come back into the breath. So coming into our last 30 seconds, just notice where you are with your props. Maybe if you feel that there's a little bit of space in the body, you can maybe move your props to the side, adjust them in some way so that you can continue to come into that sensation.
Just begin to take a slow, deep breath in. And then a full, deep breath out. Support yourself to gently come up. Bringing your hands behind you. We're just going to take a slight rebound by just flossing the knees, side to side. And then we'll come into our second side straight away. So this time, left foot is going to come in towards you first. You'll weave your right foot underneath. So choose your option. If you took your fire log, brought your foot on top on the first side, make sure you do that on the second time. We want to make sure that we're keeping everything relatively even. I'm going to take my square, walking the feet to the edges of my mat, finding that length, drawing the sit bones apart, and then exhale, coming into the fold. Using the props to set yourself up, and just being mindful the variations in your side. So we always tend to have a quote unquote good side and a bad side, maybe a side that's more open or dominant. So just notice the variations, the differences in your sides, and see if you can really support the experience. Find your last 3 rounds of deep breath. And then when you're ready, nice and slow, just begin to push yourself up. Just slowly shifting your props to the side. And this time, making your way down into your rebound. So choice once again to come onto the back. Maybe you'd prefer to lay onto the belly. Release the tension. Make any sounds that feel natural in the moment. So maybe a big sigh, a big yawn. This supports the movement and the release of chi. And then once you've felt that big wave of energy move through you, as everything starts to settle down, you can just bring a little bit of movement back into your body. Now from here, we're going to move now into our next pose. So you're just going to start to walk the feet in. We're going to come into our twisted roots pose. We're going to begin by crossing our right leg over our left, closing the gap between the legs as best you can. Knees come together. Start to shift your hips over to the right side of your mat, and option to hook your right foot behind your left calf, or just allow the knees to start to drop over to the side, either with the foot hooked or unhooked. You can cactus your arms or tee your arms. If you need a little bit more support underneath the legs, feel free to bring your block or bolster to support the legs. We're working to feel the target area through the right side, through the outer glute and the hip. You might choose to also bring your hand onto your leg just to support the twist. If you feel comfortable, closing the eyes down and then just rolling the head from side to side just to release any tension that you have. Let the head just fall nice and softly. And then come into the breath. Take your last 3 rounds of deep breath. And then slowly come through center. Straighten the spine, bring the soles of the feet down. Just take a moment just to feel the flush of the energy. And then we'll move straight into the second side. So left leg crosses over, or opposite leg, closing the gap, either hooking the foot or unhooking the foot. Shift your hips over to the left side of your mat, and then allow your knees to fall over to the right. Utilize your props underneath the legs if you need additional support. Otherwise, let gravity take the weight of your knees down. Keeping the arms open so the chest opens nice and wide, and then rolling the head from side to side. Just to release, letting it fall wherever it feels most comfortable. Coming back into the breath. Take your last 3 rounds of breath. And then nice and slow, begin to unwind, straightening the spine. Take a moment to draw your knees in towards your chest and then give yourself a really big squeeze. And then slowly extend the legs long, extend the arms long. We're coming into our final place of rest, our longest rebound, our Shavasana. So if you would like to maybe bring some props underneath you, you can bring your pillows underneath the back of your knees, maybe bring a blanket onto you if that feels comfortable for your body. Arms by the side, really broaden through the back of the heart. Release all of your weight. Close your eyes down if this feels safe for you. Take a slow, deep breath in. And then a full, deep breath out. Now stay as long as you need. If you want to take a deeper soak, be in your body a little bit longer, then feel free. Otherwise, just start to bring some movement back into your body. Reach your arms overhead, full body stretch. And then slowly rolling onto your side as you slowly transition up. Bringing your hands into prayer in front of your heart, closing your eyes down if this feels comfortable for you. Really feel the energy moving through the palms of the hands. And then we'll close our class with a breath cycle. So deep breath in. Full deep breath out. Once again, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this yin practice. Just make sure that you drink a lot of water, as it's just really important to be hydrated after you practice yin. As always, if you like this class, feel free to connect with me down in the comments. Let me know how you went. Like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it's a free and simple way that you can support me in making these videos for you. Thank you so much. I hope to see you in the next class.